So welcome to Where Do I Start, episode number 13. My name is Jim Schultz. I am still your tour guide for this series. So back in episode number 12, we just got done going into a deep dive into volatility. So I suppose today we're going to do a little bit of a deeper dive into volatility because I want to talk about volatility mean reversion and implied volatility rank, or IVR. These are two of the more important characteristics around volatility that we are using and trading every single day. So let's begin with volatility mean reversion. And this is a pretty simple idea. Over time, volatility has a tendency to mean revert. This simply means that if you take the long-term average of the VIX, like the market volatility, the S&P 500 volatility, as measured by the VIX or the VIX index, it's typically around 16 or maybe 17 as a long-run average. When volatility is on the higher end, so when volatility expands up to 19 or 21 or 25 or 33 or 45 for my Liberation Day groupies that might be out there, there's tremendous pressure on volatility to contract and move back down to the lower end of its range. Well, the opposite is also true. When volatility is on the lower end, so now it's 13, it's 12, it's 11, it's 10. Now volatility has a tendency and it has a lot of pressure to expand back higher up closer to its long run average. Now, the differences between volatility contracting back down after expanding and expanding back up after contracting are not necessarily symmetric. There's a great deal of asymmetry between how those two ends of the spectrum behave, but that's going to be another discussion for a separate time. Just understand now that there is tremendous pressure on volatility to move back to its long run average. There's a mathematical reason for this, another discussion for a separate time, but understanding that this does happen and we can observe this in the marketplace empirically is incredibly powerful for us as premium sellers, as option traders, understanding that volatility, it's not going to be like a stock price. It's not just going to run away and never come back. Like, it's going to go higher, but then it's going to move back down. It's going to go lower, but then it's going to move back up. So that brings us to implied volatility rank, or IVR. Now, IVR is nice because it gives us a way to quantify the likelihood of volatility mean reversion. Again, we can never know anything with certainty, like everything is always probabilistic in nature, but looking at an IVR, this gives us a way to objectively measure, okay, where is volatility relative to where it's been? Because that is what IVR measures. It measures the current volatility level, the current IV, where is that in the previous 12-month range? And the equation for IVR is actually fairly straightforward. You simply take the current implied volatility and you subtract the annual IV low. So essentially, how far into the range am I right now? And then you divide by that annual IV range, multiply it by 100 to move it from a decimal to a whole number, and then you have your implied volatility rank. And the best way to think about IVRs, it's no different than taking a standardized test, an SAT or an ACT or what have you. We got scores on the math section. We got scores on the English section. We got scores on the whatever section. And it showed you where you were in the distribution. Like, you scored in the 80th percentile. That means that your score is higher than 80% of the population of scores of everyone that did that same thing. IVRs are exactly the same. If you look at an IVR and it's 75, that tells you the current implied volatility is higher than 75% of all the implied volatilities over the previous 12 months. And of course, if the IVR were only 30 or 35, let's say, now it's only higher than 30 or 35% of all the implied volatilities over the previous 12-month range. So it gives you a nice way to measure, okay, where is the volatility for this specific stock relative to itself over the previous 12 months. And again, you pair that up with volatility mean reversion, and now you've really got something. Now you have something that kind of tells you, okay, there's maybe a stronger likelihood that we contract back lower. There's maybe a stronger likelihood that we expand back higher using these two ideas together. So now let's pop into Tasty Trade and let's take a look at some implied volatility ranks in the platform. Okay, so here I am inside of my Tasty Trade platform. I'm looking at the From Theory to Practice portfolio. Shout out to From Theory to Practice every day at 2:30 Eastern Time, only on the Tasty Live Network. So if we take a look at Starbucks here, the nice thing about Tasty Trade is it actually makes the implied volatility rank very, very clear and very known because it's right next to the actual ticker box. So you can see right away where the implied volatility rank is for the stock you might be looking at. So for Starbucks, I see an IV rank of 64.3. So what does that tell me? That tells me that the implied volatility for Starbucks right now is kind of on the higher end of the range, right? The current implied volatility of Starbucks is higher than 64% of all the volatilities in Starbucks over the previous 12 months. And similarly, let's get rid of Starbucks. Let's go to another one now. Let's go to AMD. So AMD, so wow, so look at AMD. AMD is crazy, crazy. The implied volatility rank of AMD right now is at 99.9. So that tells me that the current implied volatility for AMD is higher than 99.9% of all volatilities in AMD over the previous 12 months. In other words, it is at the tippity top of the implied volatility range. So again, if I was looking to sell this volatility, if I was looking to maybe do some short options positions, we'll get into all that in future episodes in the series, but if I was looking to take advantage of this and want to position myself for the likelihood or the potential of volatility contracting back lower to actually take advantage of volatility mean reversion, this would be a reasonably good time to do it. Now, again, we don't know what's going to happen. Nothing is a guarantee. It could absolutely backfire and completely blow up in your face, in my face, in everyone's faces. That is trading to some degree. But when it comes to positioning myself to where I have somewhat of a statistical, I don't necessarily want to say advantage, but I have statistical things that are kind of stacking up in my favor. Let's just say that. When it comes to implied volatility ranks, you see 80, you see 90, you see 100. These are really, really high implied volatility ranks. Now, chances are, if we dig a little bit deeper, let's just kind of keep our detective hat on here for one extra second. If I go to the trade page, then you're going to see that AMD has earnings coming up on August 4th. And so a big reason why the implied volatility rank for AMD might be really high right now is because everyone is getting ready for earnings. But that's going to be a separate discussion for another time for certain. But let's go to some indexes. Like if I go to QQQ, you're going to see the implied volatility rank right now is 64.5, so on the higher end of the range. If you go to SPY, the implied volatility rank is only 32.5. So again, a little bit on the lower end of the range, but still very reasonable for wanting to maybe sell some premium and do a short options position, things we will get into later on down the road. But let's see if we can find one that's on the lower end of the range. If I go to my watch list here, and I have my Tasty Default watch list, the nice thing about the Tasty Default watch list is it shows you the IV index, which this is actually the IV of that stock. And then it shows you the IV rank, which is what we've been talking about. So the IV rank is measuring where is the IV index relative to where the IV index has been over the previous 12 months. So if I sort IV rank just by clicking on the variable, I can sort from low to high, and you can see that, the DIA, the Dow Jones Industrial Average Index, for all my boomers that might be watching the show here today, this guy's a little bit on the lower end of the range, only 19.2. You've got IWM at 22. You've got Citigroup at 27.8. You've got SLV, the silver index, at 28.4. And then you can sort it from high to low. And now you see a bunch of stocks have super high implied volatilities right now because we are getting into earnings season. And the market has been relatively volatile as of late. So understanding volatility mean reversion and implied volatility rank, this is how these two things begin to come together. We're going to talk more about specifically how to use these a bit later on down the road, but my hope now is you have somewhat of an idea of what these things are, what they mean, what they measure, how you can find them and begin to analyze them inside of Tasty Trade. So take what we learned back in episode 10 in terms of the inverse relationship between market prices and market volatility, and also volatility's tendency to contract over time, and pair that up with what we've now learned in this episode with volatility mean reversion and implied volatility rank. And hopefully you can see that volatility is a very, very big piece to the puzzle. It's a huge component behind what we do every single day. Lots more on this later in the series. I hope this was helpful, and I'll see you guys in the next episode.